Looking to start a video podcast this year? Well, in this video, I'll be breaking down our Think Marketing podcast setup, everything from the cameras, the audio, the lighting, everything. And be sure to stick around because I'm gonna show you how you can do a multi-camera podcast and eliminate editing and post, making switching in real time. Let's go.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, what's up? It's Omar Takori with Think Media, helping you build your influence with online video. And on this channel, sometimes we do tech gear reviews as well as studio setups just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And I just wanna let you know that everything I mentioned will be listed down in the description below, as well to some cheaper alternatives to things if you wanna achieve the same idea, but you have a cheaper equipment purchase. We'll put that in the description below, so make sure you check that out. But man, if you're pumped to get into this setup, hit that like button for me. But let's start with the first thing, which is audio. So if you did not know, we have a podcast. Yes, did you know we had a podcast? It's called the Think Marketing Podcast. And in this podcast, we go a lot deeper when it comes to YouTube strategy, online video marketing, and things like that. So make sure you check it out. We'll post links in the description below. And it's just a great podcast we upload weekly on. All that to say, the mic we use for this podcast is the Shure SM7B. This is one of the top of the line mics that you can buy for podcasting, live streaming, and anything you really need. This is what is called a dynamic mic. So it really gives you that radio podcast vibe. And so let's cut over from my lav mic right into this mic, just so you can get a vibe. Now you're hearing the Shure SM7B, and it sounds great. It's very rich, it sounds professional, and it is a $400 mic, but there are alternatives. The big thing is that this is a dynamic mic, and so dynamic mics will give you this kind of sound. We have the mic on a Samson desk stand right here. This is like a $15 stand. It's perfect for like sitting height, as you can see. And then we have the mic plugged into what is called a cloud lifter. A mic like this just needs a little bit of boost, and this thing gives it to it. And so before it actually hits our recorder, which I'll jump to in just a second, this is running through the cloud lifter, giving it a nice presence boost and eliminating some noise in the process. But let's talk about the recorder that we use to capture the audio. So the recorder we're actually using to capture the audio coming from those mics that I just mentioned is the Zoom H6 recorder. This is a super easy to use recorder, and really what I love about it is, number one, it provides phantom power, so it's actually powering up the mics. And then number two, you can actually run continuous power to the Zoom, so you're not wasting batteries and just plug into, AC adapter or something like that. But this records really high quality files, and I love the knobs that it just makes it very tactical to dial in your audio. And it's very simple, like we're not trying to add in any sounds. We're not trying to bring on guests from outside. We're really just capturing the two mics audio, but that's what we're using to capture the audio, the Zoom H6. So now that we covered audio, let's cover the next thing, which is lighting. So for lighting, I don't want to get too in-depth with everything we're doing, but essentially the two key lights we're using is the GVM 100 watt light kit with the lantern softbox. So if you can see, it has kind of like this ball in front of it, which is great because it provides a great source of light and very balanced too as well. And so actually having both of these really fills in the shadows and the faces and is really flattering. The one thing we've learned about lighting is you want to get it to as big as possible, but as soft as possible. And these kind of lights do that. These are what you would call cob lights. They're not panel lights or anything like that, but we've actually done a full video review on this light, so you can check that out. But if you come over here, I just want to talk about the other kind of light that we have and what I would call accent lighting. These are lighting that we intentionally are placing in the shot to be able to give kind of a vibe. We want it to be a little bit cozy. So we have these like lights from IKEA, which is this light right over here. And then we have a nice little globe light right over there. And if you notice, the temperature is a little bit different from the key lights. So just something to note is, you want daytime lights hitting your face most of the time, but you can totally bring in some warm lights back from behind you. And then that's what I want to talk about this. This is called a panel light. A lot of people actually know what this is, but it's an LED panel light by GVM as well. This is providing hair light to the subject, essentially making it look like these accent lights are projecting a light behind them. And what it does at the end of the day is it just creates some sort of separation from your background. So So think about adding a hair light in addition to accent lighting in your setup. It's just something that could level it up altogether. So we covered audio, we covered lighting. Now I wanna talk about video, but right before I do, I just wanna talk about our sponsor for this video, and that is StreamYard. StreamYard is how we actually do our live streams to YouTube and our private Facebook groups and things like that. And what's so cool about StreamYard is that it makes it super easy and seamless to bring on guests if you're actually interviewing people, or you can run slideshow decks and things like that. So if live streaming is something you wanna do, make sure you check out StreamYard down in the links in the description. So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about the video side of things. So we're actually capturing this podcast with 3 different cameras, which you could say is quite a lot, but the reason being is because of 2 people on the podcast. We want to be able to capture them with a nice medium wide shot, essentially the lens that they're going to actually look into. And then the other 2 cameras are just going to be close-up shots of each person individually. And so it really makes up a cool setup for a 2-person podcast if you're doing something like this. And the cameras we're actually using are all Sony a7 IIIs. We just have 3 of those, and I would encourage to use 3 of the same camera so you have consistent colors and you have a consistent look all around. But one thing I do want to mention, and a life hack a lot of people don't know is possible, is actually getting continuous power adapters. So each one of these cameras are powered straight into plug-in power. So we're never gonna run out of battery. We don't have to stop shooting what we're doing and then start charging batteries. So these are very inexpensive. Again, links to everything we're mentioning down in the description below. All that to say, you don't need a 4K camera to shoot podcasts. You can use a Canon M50, get 3 Canon M50s or what have you. I would just encourage get the same camera. Now, you might see all these HDMIs coming out of these cameras, and the reality is it's because of this thing. So hands down, one of my favorite things about this entire setup is the ability to switch in real time and then capture that as kind of a live show. So there's really very minimal editing that we have to do in post when it comes to editing this podcast. You know, one thing you can do is definitely record onto the cameras and capture all that footage, and then in post, edit it using like a multi-camera editing or something like that. And we have videos on that as well. We'll post links in the YouTube card as well as in the description below about those things. However, we are plugging all of the cameras into this device, and it is the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro ISO. I know it's a mouthful, and they actually have 3 versions of this. You don't necessarily need this version. I'll tell you why I got this one in particular. But essentially, what you're able to do is literally during a podcast, we could switch cameras in real time, and you could even, see obviously there's no people in the shot, but you got all 3 angles. And so when it's go time, I literally can just hit record on here, and then it's gonna capture to an SSD or a hard drive. And then at the end of it, I have a show that not only has the 3 angles all recorded, I also have a recording of the actual cuts I made. And then finally, it gives you a project file, and it's a DaVinci Resolve project file. So you can actually go in and make tweaks to that show that you just cut. So it's really cool. It also plugs into our MacBook, so you can really monitor your audio levels pretty well. And I'm actually running a line out from the Zoom into this Blackmagic. And you see this probably like in a case. I actually got the inspiration from Caleb at DSLR Shooter, but we custom built this case just to make it cool. I don't know, you don't have to do all this, but you could totally not even use a monitor, but wanted to make it something that we can just roll up anywhere and do a multi-camera setup. So, and we'll make a video on this device just so you can check it out a little bit deeper. But what's also cool about this device is we can go streaming straight into any software from this device. So even if I was on my desk, I could plug multiple cameras in here, multiple displays, and just switch them in real time, picture in picture. And so really the ATEM Mini is just a great all-around investment if you're really looking into doing live streaming or multi-camera production type things. So definitely check out that video when it comes out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But now that we covered video, another thing I like to include when it comes to V, so we talked about audio, A, L, V, S, but the video portion, it also includes visual. So I just want to talk about kind of this wall setup we have here, which is pretty cool and you want to check out. So let's check it out now. So quick little story about this setup you've been seeing here on Think Media as of late when it comes to the podcast and some of the videos we've been putting out is that this is actually Kyle's loft in his house. And the reality is when he moved into this house over the summer, we noticed that this was a good space to film. However, it posed some problems and we actually came up with a solution. A lot of people see this and are like, oh, sick, you have like the gray wall hitting the white wall. When this isn't a wall, it's actually a piece of paper. right, like 60 bucks, but I want Kyle to actually take over. We're gonna switch, and then he's gonna break down how you can do this too and add an accent wall in your space and potentially level up your visuals in your setup.
So the problem was we needed to create a corner, like a clean space to have a clean shot like this. And the problem was the fitting that we use, this is gonna go up against the wall and there's gonna be a gap. So the idea that I had, I got a pipe fitting and I screwed it into the flange. So there's just a pipe going in here. It's about probably like a foot long, a foot and a half. Screwed it in there and then I just slid the paper right into it. And then I measured across exactly how long it would be. And then I put the fitting on the end. So then we can use this and roll it up and down. It actually changed this space a whole lot and just transformed it into what we have now. And the cool thing is I can swap this out with any color that I have. I have 4 other colors and it's just sliding out of that pole and then just remounting it, and it's pretty simple to use. But I'll send it back over to Omar to finish up this video.
And that wraps up the ultimate video podcast setup that we have for the Think Marketing podcast. Let me know down in the comments below which part of this was your absolute favorite, which part did you get mind blown, and something you can implement in your podcast. And I just wanna let you know, we have a video on how to start a podcast. So if you're looking to start a podcast, you can check that out by clicking or tapping the screen, or check out our playlist on video podcasting. Same thing, click or tap the screen. And I can't wait to see you in a future video. Peace.